Good morning, everybody. It is 2:15 a.m. here. I've been to sleep, and I took melatonin to get to sleep, and then I just woke up about a half hour ago, laid there for a while, couldn't sleep, so I took some more melatonin, and I just decided to get up a little bit until I get ready to go back to sleep. So it's the way my mind works. So I'm going to teach you how to do Proddy flowers, and this is the way I do them. It's not the way everybody does them, but it's the way I do them. These are Oxford punches. This is a 14 fine, and this is a 10 regular. Now, when you do these, it's the same way as punch needle embroidery, only you're doing it with yarn. So you see the big needle, the big hole there. Let me get over to that. This is the line where your yarn goes through that. Now the 14, it does say Oxford on the end, so you want to make sure you get the genuine one. They are not cheap. They're, I don't know, I bought these years ago. I think they're up to almost $40 now, or maybe they are $40. This is the 14 fine, which means it has a smaller hole, so you can use a thinner yarn. And I like that it has this to keep the yarn from popping out of here. I've thought a few times about putting one on this, but haven't done it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make some sunflowers. So I'm going to mix these two yarns together. I'll hold them up here. You can't see the one real good because it's the same color. So I'm going to use the 10 regular. So all you do is thread that yarn through there, through that eye of the needle, pull it back this way, and slide it a little bit, and it's threaded. That's it. So much easier than threading the Ultra Punch, which is what I use with embroidery thread. And I hope you guys can hear me because, like, right on the other side of this wall is somebody else's bedroom because I'm in an apartment. So I can't talk loud. This is monk's cloth. This is not the monk's cloth that you buy at like Joann's or Walmart. If you can see, it's kind of faint, but it has lines. See the white grid lines on it? The stuff at Walmart does not have that, and it's not as tight a weave as this. This does fray really bad, so I just use Dollar Tree painter's tape. Don't use the good stuff. You don't need to pay that money. Just get the Dollar Tree stuff, or if you have a serger, you can put that around the edge. Because it will, like I said, fray really bad. You can get this at Old Tattered Flag or any Sears port rug hooking. Some people on Etsy sell it. I did get some on Amazon, and I will include the link in the description box of where I bought mine. But not all is equal, so you want to make sure you get the right stuff. And see those holes where I took this to the retreat and showed them how to do it. So you can see the holes where somebody had punched. And if you just take your needle and go like that, those holes will fill right back in. Normally you do it without yarn. So just take a Sharpie. This is the center of my flower. And all I'm going to do is go down. And you do have to go all the way down to the wood here. This is made of wood. So there's your needle. You want to make sure you go all the way down. You want to make sure that your monk's cloth is in here very tightly in your Morgan hoop or on your stretcher frame. A regular embroidery hoop will not work. It will not keep it tight enough. So I'm just going like every couple threads. I'm not going in every single hole. You do want to make sure that your yarn is free-flowing, that there's nothing like laying on it so it gets caught up. And you just go, well, actually mine's not going in, so I must be, you know what, because it's out here, so I'm not doing it right. Alright, let's go. Alright, let me see if I can do this better. There we go. So I'm just going to go round and round. Doesn't have to be, you can see it's not like a perfect circle because the petals are going to go all the way around that. this is in an awkward position, of course, because I'm sitting on the floor. I'm going to put it over that way, and then it'll be flowing better. I have this slit that's in the wood going towards me. The same as when you're doing punch needle embroidery. You want the bevel to be facing you and punch toward yourself. So I'm just going round and round. I'm actually going to cut that off. Got a pile here on the floor to clean up in the morning. So when I get to the end of my circle, I just move in and go and do another circle. Oh, I'm in frame here. Move over some. So this is what it looks like on the other side. It looks kind of sparse right now, but it'll all fill in. And I will be back and show you after I get that all filled in. But again, you just, I guess I should show you a little bit more. But you're just going, why do I not sit at a table? Well, I don't know. I'm a sit on the floor person sometimes. And you can see that my rows are kind of close together there, but you don't want them right up against each other because it'll bunch up. So, on off frame, I'm sorry. All right, I'm going to finish filling this in, and then I'll come back. Okay, my circle is all finished, so I'm just going to take my scissors to hold that yarn down so I don't pull it out when I pull the needle up. See, it's holding the yarn, and then you just snip it off. And there's my circle right there. I'm not crazy about these colors, but they'll work. Okay. I would have liked to have kind of a goldish brown in there, but I didn't feel like looking for it. Because I'm crazy, and at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm doing a tutorial. Like, who does that? Okay. I did want to tell you again, you do need a Morgan hoop or a gripper frame that you use for rug hooking. The reason for that is because you need this fabric to be really tight. So when you get it tight, you just keep going around like this and pulling it down. Because when you're pushing with the needle and you're pushing it through, you are really pushing the fabric. And if you use a regular embroidery hoop, it just won't work. All right, so the next thing that I did was I took a piece of wool. Now this is just some coffee stained wool that I did. And this one was cut with pinking shears. So I would go like that. I don't know if that's good. Yeah, it's not wide enough. You need like at least a quarter, and that should tear that scrap. And then you go, I don't know, 1/2 inch to 1 inch, do snips all the way across, tear it, and then what I did, just because this is the right length to do that, I just folded it in 3s like this, and then cut at the loop there. The next thing I'm going to do, because I have straight edges, is I'm going to cut, trying to see, maybe I can hold this up with my foot as a background. Okay, so I'm going to cut into a point like that. And that is the edge of the petal. So then line up, and these don't have to be all exactly the same length. So there you have a point on each end. Now, if you look at the old tattered flag videos, they do have the dies. That's a DIE that will cut these for you. But I don't have that. They're very expensive. So, all right. So the next thing I'm going to do, this is how I punched it. That is the back. Now I'm going to work on the front. So I have needle nose pliers. They need a very pointy tip. You can't have like the blunt flat end. So I'm going to go into one of these holes here. And there you can see. Right there. I'm in the hole. Okay. So I'm going to grab. Let me move this around. I'm going to open my needle nose pliers as far as I can, which is just a little bit. Hold on. I'm going to go a little bit out from the center there, from that punched area there. Now I have grabbed the end of that and I'm pulling it through, but I only want to pull it through halfway. Then I'm going to go next to it and I'm going to go around, fold this over, get the other tip, close my pliers, and pull that through. And then I'm going to pull these up so they're all the way through. So there you have petals. And then I'm going to go all the way around and do that. So again, I'm going to, I'm not sure how good you can see it, but there's the end, and I'm going to go, let's see, maybe 2 or 3 over. See the back, but the space is there. And I'm going to grab another petal. Pull it halfway through. So it'd actually be better if I had like an overhead camera, but I don't. So I'm going to get the other half of this, pull it through, go on this side, pull up. So there you can see my flower is forming. And you just do that all the way around. You can see about how far apart they are. I'm going to do some more. Now I usually do 2 rows of petals. I'm catching thread in here sometimes, so I have to make sure I don't do that. So pull this through. Yeah, you can hear it poke because it's going right through those threads. You don't need expensive needle nose pliers. You just need pointy needle nose pliers. Some of you may have jewelry making pliers. Those will work as long as it's got that point on it. And you can mix and match colors. Doesn't have to all be one color. I have some other wool ready over here that doesn't have the variegation that this does. So I might do like 1 row of one and 1 row of the other. And what I would do then, for my second row, I will go in between these. You know, like not down here in between them, but out a little bit in between them, like that. And that fills it in. So I'm going to finish this up. And after I'm all done, I will show you how I finish it. Okay, my flower is done. I have 2 rows, and there's actually 2 different kinds of wool. This one has a texture to it, and then the outside row is smoother. So you can mix, you could do every other one, whichever way you choose. And then the back of it, this is what it looks like. So you can see how they're spaced. And I tried to go, you know, in between the other ones, like I said. Some of them I think are right above it, but most of them are in the space between them. And you don't want too much space because then you'll see this fabric, especially when you're doing this. You don't want to see the monk's cloth through it. So there it is. That is my Proddy flower. Now, the reason it's over here to the side is because I can get 2 more Proddy flowers on here. So I'm not going to cut this off and show you exactly how it's finished right now. And And I'm probably going to change this yarn in the middle because I don't really like it with this gold wool. I like the brown, but I don't like those two mixed. So it's very easy to change it. You just like punch needle embroidery. I'll just show you. You just pull it and it comes out. And it doesn't take long, so it's not like cross stitch where, you know, oh, that was so much work and now you have to rip it out. It's really easy and quick. So you see the holes, and again, you just take your thumbnail, rub it back and forth, and that fills in. Not exactly like the unused portion, but you can see those holes filled in a lot. And then tomorrow, at a decent hour of the day, instead of the middle of the night, I will repunch it a different color. Now, I did want to talk to you about your strips here. Some of you may say, well, how long do you cut your strips? And you can see these are, you know, some's a little longer, some's a little wider. It doesn't matter. The thing you want to think about is your length of your strip. When you fold that over, and then, again, how this is background. So when you fold this over, trying to get in your view here. There we go. About, you know, maybe a thumbnail, maybe a little less, is going to be on the underneath of the fabric. And then this is the length of your petals. So when you're thinking about how long you want to cut your wool, fold it in half and look and see how long will that make your petal. These are a little bit long, this first row, but it just makes a bigger flower. So you can make real short ones and have like more stubby flower. You can cut these rounded instead of to a point. You can cut them jagged. If you look at the old Tedder flag, look at the different kind of dies that they have that they use for flower petals. Again, if you have the money, that makes it so much easier to use the dies that they have. I don't have the money for that, so I just cut my own. And it's really quick and simple. And when I cut these, I don't just do like, you know, when I'm doing the points on the end, I don't just do one at a time. I do 3 or 4 thick. And then just get my scissors and snip, snip, and it's done. It's so quick and easy. So that is that part. Now, if we pretend that this is finished and I have repunched this part, what I would do is cut about a 1/2 inch out around this, or maybe even 1 inch, a circle around it. And remember, it frays really bad, so you don't want to cut close in. Then when you do that circle, you have to cut snips. You know, anytime you cut a circle, you're going to cut snips. Then you're going to hot glue them, those flaps, because you're going to have flaps. You hot glue them to the back, to the center. And then you would take the wool that you cut your petals with, a piece of that, and you would cut a circle that would cover all of this. You want to cover all that with a wool circle. And you are going to have these petals on the back. So, I mean, you'll see the back of these. So if you cut that and then you hot glue that, you just put some hot glue around on these, and you leave an opening about a finger's width, and that is where you would put your stick in, or your bed spring, or whatever you want to mount it on. They look pretty cool on a curly, rusty bed spring. So make sure you leave that finger's width opening, and that's where you would put the stick in. So I will take some pictures tomorrow when I get this finished. I guess it's technically today because it's now, let's see, it's almost 3 in the morning. But I'm going to try to get some sleep. So in the comments, tell me, do you suffer from insomnia? Because I've been told that creative-minded people often have insomnia. So let me know if that's something that you suffer with and what you do to try to sleep well. Because, like I said, I take melatonin, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Because I get these thoughts in my head of what I want to create, what I want to make, and I just want to get up out of bed and make it. And I try to make myself stay there and fall asleep, but it doesn't always work. So anyway, that is how I make a Proddy flower. I do know that there's Proddy tools to do this part of it. Instead of using the pliers, there is a tool similar to this that's called a Proddy tool. I tried it once. I didn't like it. I tried to let a rug hook in, and I did not like it. I prefer this. I already have this. These are pretty old, and I really like them. But use what you have instead of going out and buying all the little gadgets, you know. These, I would not buy the cheapy ones. I would buy the good one if you're going to do it. Get the right tools. Makes a big difference. This tool works perfectly fine. You don't have to have the other tool. Okay, it is daytime now. I've had some sleep, and I want to show you what I've gotten done. So I decided to do 4 flowers on this, and you can see here how far apart the petals are spaced. And right now I'm working on this one. So I did change the color of the yarn in the middle. And as for what type of yarn to use whatever you have. I got just leftover remnant balls from a thrift store in Lancaster, Pennsylvania called Lancaster Creative Reuse. And I'm going there in December, and I can't wait to see what I can find next time. So I'm showing you now. I have these cut, these petals, and I decided I wanted some more primitive colors than rather what this is. So this one is actually finished, and it is going to probably be for sale in my Etsy shop on a rusty bed spring. But I want to show you just from a different angle here. What I'm doing is I'm taking the needle nose pliers and I'm poking down. I think I can get a better angle this time with the camera here. It's overhead. And then, as I showed you last night, I just barely open here. And I'm going to grab that. See how that, and then I'm going to pull it through, but not all the way through. Then I'm going to go right next to it, maybe like 2 threads away, and poke down. And now I'm here, and I'm going to grab the other point on that and pull that through. I'm not sure how good you're seeing this, but I'm trying. All right, so then I have that petal. And then I'm going to just repeat that. I'm getting pretty close to this center section. So here is my pliers. I'm going to grab another petal, pull it through, and then I can do this actually showing from the back and not even looking at the front. I can pull up through here, grab the other side, and pull that through, and then go here and pull them up. So that is how you do it all the way around. So I'm going to finish this. I do 2 rows. As you can see here, I did 2 rows. They're not too close together, but you don't want them too far apart either. So I'm going to do these, and then I'm going to come out in between the 2 a little further out, and then go here. Now let me use these to point with. So I'm going to go here in between these 2, but not down in here, but up here a little bit, because it's going to be outer row. So in between each one is what I'm going to try to do. And then it'll be 2 rows across, and then I'm going to come back, and there's not a whole lot of room like between these, so I'm going to have to be really careful where I cut that. And then right away, I'm going to have to flip it back and glue it. This one over here has more room, but right in here and right in here, there's plenty of room on these sides because it's tucked in under here. Can't see where I'm, there's a lot of room over here. It's just right here and right here is going to be really close. So that's where I'm going to have to be careful because this frays really bad. And then I'm going to have to hot glue that back, and I will show you that after I get this finished. It is Wool Wednesday, and that term I got from watching Katie on Sew Tattered. It's SEW Tattered. She has a floss tube channel, and she just started doing it. And what it does is just give you a little bit something different to do besides the cross stitch. And so on Wednesdays, you work on something with wool. And I'm kind of happy for it because I have a lot of things that I want to do with wool, but yet I keep putting it off and then it never gets done. So I'm glad because I've been talking about doing these flowers for months, and now I'm finally doing them. And it's all thanks to Katie for mentioning that. So I will be putting them on Instagram, whatever I make on Wednesdays with the wool. I'm not sure I'll do it every Wednesday, but I will be tagging it on Instagram as Wool Wednesday. Now this looks like a crowded mess right here, but really there's a lot of room in between there, as you can see if I push them back. So I'm going to keep going and go around these, and then I'll be back. Okay guys, here they are. They're all finished. So these are my 2 a.m. Proddy flowers. Actually, that one is the 2 a.m. Proddy flower. These I did today. The idea to put them in this bed spring, I have this idea, I've done this before, but to put the ones on the sticks on the bed spring comes from Renee at the Appalachian Stitcher. So be sure to check her out on YouTube. She did that with some that she got from the retreat that I did. If you remember the wool flowers, I'll post a picture here that I did for the retreat. I put them in mason jars, but Renee took hers back to her camper because she was the table winner for those at her table, and she put them in a bed spring like this, which is a great idea. So I copied your idea, Renee. And then this one is just, I'll show you here. You just, where the opening is, you just tuck it in there and turn it a couple of times. This one actually will be for sale on my Etsy shop because it's a little bright for me. I don't want to coffee stain it and get it too grungy. So I'm going to leave it as it is because some people love bright colors. And that one is going in my Etsy shop. It will come off of the spring, but the spring will be included. And then, or I may put it in, depends on the box, I guess, that I could put it like that. And then these are for me and keeping those. Love those colors. So that's it, everybody. I hope this helped you learn how to make it. I'm sorry for my 2 in the morning kind of crazy mixed upness, but that's it. Give it a thumbs up if you like this and subscribe so you don't miss any more of my videos. Bye.